This altcoin sector is exploding right now, and Wall Street still doesn't get it. While most of the market has been stuck in sideways chop, there's a corner of crypto making new all-time highs, spitting out viral winners, and crushing every safe narrative you've heard of. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what's driving this run, why institutions are missing the signal, and how you can front-run the next wave before anyone else catches on. If you want to see the playbook that's actually working in 2025, stay with me, because this is the one trade everyone will wish they had caught early. Before we get into the only sector that's outperforming, we have to step back and understand what's really going on with the macro picture. The truth is, what's happening globally sets a tone for everything else and can give us the best possible entries for new plays I'll be covering later in the show. So why now? Because uncertainty and the dollar devaluation are accelerating faster than ever before. Markets everywhere are feeling the impact of a monetary system under pressure, trade alliances shifting, and political volatility rewriting the playbook week after week. Capital and attention are seeking safety, speed, and new yield in places that just a year ago would have been unthinkable. And those with higher risk tolerances will happily keep betting on lotto tickets, knowing the old system is collapsing anyway. On July 6th, Trump laid down the gauntlet. Any BRICS-aligned country will face a 10% extra tariff. And right now, the United States begins sending out official tariff letters and announcing deals made from countries around the world. This is the new playbook for global volatility. When I talk to funds and founders, they're watching these headlines and planning their next capital move for maximum flexibility and speed. Crypto is the global neutral zone for now. Every macro shock, every political drama is just more fuel for the on-chain fire. And right as the storm is brewing, Trump has gone on record saying he'll replace Powell with someone committed to cutting rates. Just listen to this.
Get this guy out, and whoever is in there will lower rates. If I think somebody's going to keep the rates where they are or whatever, I'm not going to put them in. I'm going to put somebody that wants to cut rates. There are a lot of them out there.
And that's a signal clear as day. The market never waits for the appointment. It starts to price in a new era of cheap money and fresh risk appetite as soon as a regime shift is signaled. Meanwhile, Wall Street is finally here, and they're buying everything. ETF flows have pulled in 380,000 Bitcoin this year alone. And now there are more Americans holding Bitcoin than holding gold. 50 million compared to 37 million. What does that tell you? This shift is happening alongside one of the greatest fiscal tipping points in modern history, with every macro domino falling into place for digital assets to take center stage. Right now, the crypto conversation is at the center of Capitol Hill. The House Ways and Means Oversight Subcommittee just announced a hearing titled Make America the Crypto Capital of the World, focusing on how to build a 21st century tax policy for digital assets. Just last week, I was invited to NASDAQ to touch on this very topic.
Kyle, it's interesting. If you were to have this conversation, let's call it 12 to 18 months ago, thinking of the US as the crypto capital of the world, that would have looked a little bit different. We have certainly catapulted to another stratosphere over the past 6 to 9 months, let's call it.
Yeah, 12 to 18 months ago, I was chilling in my house in Thailand and observing, and Dubai was the crypto capital of the world at the time, right? US was nowhere on the radar. I had zero intentions of being back here. And when Trump started campaigning, Make America the Crypto Capital of the World, my ears started perking up. And I said, well, maybe I should go home. Maybe I should go try it out again. And that started as kind of, okay, is he just trying to get votes or is this real? And the more real it became, the more interested I became in coming back home. And I've been back in the States for 2 months now and working with the White House on policy and how we can actually bring our company, which has been very successful overseas, into America and create jobs and create opportunities for Americans. And this was also music to my ears to hear about how we can finally address, as an American, dealing with digital assets, trading all the time, in and out of things, capital gains. All of this needs clarity, and we've been left without it for over a decade. And just as Bitcoin and crypto are taking center stage, the US national debt is set to hit $40 trillion by the end of this year. Up 17 trillion in just 6 years. On Friday, President Trump signed his big, beautiful bill, locking in another chapter of US fiscal history and putting even more pressure on the dollar. Each headline around debt, spending, or stimulus is fuel for this new era of speculation and capital flight. If you want a deeper breakdown on how Trump's big, beautiful bill could impact risk assets and the dollar, I did a full show on it last week. I'll link it for you guys at the end of this video. If you haven't seen it, you want to check that one out. Even politics is rapidly shifting. Elon Musk just officially announced the America Party and that it will embrace Bitcoin, saying, quote, "Fiat is hopeless, so yes." When one of the world's biggest tech icons ties his new political movement to digital assets, you know the culture war has moved on chain. And just to drive that point home even further, even Joe Rogan is talking about fiat eventually becoming worthless. Check this out.
Imagine if Bitcoin becomes the only money worth anything. And then everybody's like, but I don't have any of it. Well, your money's not worth shit. You got to get new money. You got to get money in Bitcoin.
That's what's going to happen.
And then there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin, right? Like the Bitcoin number is finite. Right. So like maybe there's no Bitcoin for you.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
You just predicted the future, Joe.
Also, quickly on Elon and the Bitcoin statement, there's one more thing that crypto Twitter isn't really covering in depth right now. It was a Forbes article just released a few hours ago. Let me share a point of it with you right now. So it says, last week, X users were captivated by unconfirmed claims that Musk had liked a post suggesting that he's quietly stacking Bitcoin as he rails against the US growing debt pile. And it says, has anyone ever noticed how Elon Musk talks a lot about things like overspending and debt and bad government decisions in general, but has completely stopped talking about Bitcoin? An anonymous Bitcoin account posted, with the account of Bitcoin storage company chief executive Cedar, known as Chris, replying, maybe he's stacking quietly. Chris then shared his screen recording to X that appears to show Elon Musk's X account liking the post, tagging 2 viral Bitcoin content creators. So there you go. Elon probably, I mean, come on, if you were worth like $400 billion, wouldn't you have a huge stack of Bitcoin, especially knowing what's happening? He's more switched on than 99.999% of the people when it comes down to what's happening fiscally around the US dollar. And so where are you storing your wealth? You can store it in Tesla stocks, you can store it in some gold, some Bitcoin, and where else are you going to put it? You're not going to put it in the dollar, which is being debased like crazy right now, right? But it won't be a straight line up for Bitcoin and crypto. Over the past year, whales have sold more than 500,000 Bitcoin to institutions. It's just a redistribution right now. So the rich or the institutions are buying your Bitcoin. Don't sell it to them. ETFs and funds now control over a quarter of all Bitcoin. Are you paying attention to this? This is insane. And volatility is at multi-year lows. Analysts now expect Bitcoin to act more like a bond or dividend stock, growing 10 to 20% a year. Steady, boring, and safe. But I don't think that's true. Right? This is just what some analysts are predicting. I think we still have a lot more. Eventually, it will be. Eventually, it will be slow, boring, but up. But I don't think that time is now. I think we are still at the precipice of mass adoption for Bitcoin on a global stage, backed by sovereign states. It's going to be insane. But is that going to appreciate as much as some of the altcoins as we start to come into altcoin season? And you're seeing that right now. Q3, ETH is outperforming Bitcoin. Is it going to continue? Well, we'll see. But let me talk to you guys if you guys are newer to the channel and what my strategy typically is. It hasn't really changed. Bitcoin is still the core foundational pillar of where I take profits into and how I value my wealth. But the right altcoin moves, the right protocol bets can ultimately help you grow your Bitcoin stack in ways that just holding through chop never will. This is why I'm paying attention to these new networks and these protocol flywheels that I'm about to talk about. Because in a market like this, the biggest transfer of wealth is already underway. And it's going to those who are plugged in and participating early. And that brings us to the only altcoin sector actually growing right now. Let's get into exactly why all eyes over the weekend are on this corner of the market. Let's get into the main event. This summer, the most explosive moves in crypto are happening far away from the so-called safe bets. Even though that's where majority of my liquid net worth is, we still have to play this barbell strategy, right? If you checked crypto Twitter over the weekend, you already saw it. Bonk dominated the meme mindshare charts by a wide margin. And here's why. Bonk, which if you're not sure what that is, the biggest meme coin on Solana, basically, aside from the Trump coin, but the OG that's super integrated in the Solana ecosystem. Bonk has become the meme launchpad king, flipping pump fund and fees generated and hitting over $500 million in total market cap. Total market cap, that's funny. It's actually what it is, market cap, across its launchpad ecosystem. Yes, and you'll know why that is when I get to it in a second. Yesterday, Let's Bonk Fund accounted for over 75% of all token graduates, with more than 190,000 new tokens launched and over 2,300 successfully completing the process. And get this, they're beating Pump Fund in almost every metric with only about half the active users. These coins go beyond memes. What we have here is an assembly line for microcap viral stories, reflexive community energy, and engineered network effect that move at the speed of internet culture. You see it in the numbers. Useless, ticker useless, heavily championed by the Bonk guy, soared from 5 million market cap to over 300 million in a matter of a few weeks, creating a fresh layer of FOMO and reigniting the Solana meme coin ecosystem. There's another one called Hosiko and Icon. They followed. And now a string of Bonk-powered launches dominate the closest to all-time high charts, leaving so-called blue-chip altcoins far behind. What's happening here is bigger than a series of pumps. Each new launch pulls in its own wave of believers, turning participation itself into a catalyst. Every graduate strengthens the network, and every cycle feeds the next. With thousands of new tokens launching every single day, picking the next breakout winner can feel like rolling the dice in the world's biggest casino. The odds are incredibly stacked against everyone trying to choose just one. Bonk changes the game. This is a rare opportunity to back a token with the best of both worlds, earning like the house on every new launch and riding the same meme-driven momentum that fuels the biggest rallies. Bonk sits at the center of this perpetual motion machine. It collects fees, powers the launches, and captures value from every viral trend as it happens. When new tokens like Savior, Smokey, and Lucky Coin hit multi-million-dollar market caps within days, Bonk benefits when they launch on Bonk Fund. In this meta, protocol and culture is fully fused. So while the crowd is busy trying to find the next 100x, you can own a piece of the infrastructure that makes it all possible. This is a design economic flywheel. On Let's Bonk, every launch and graduation creates a feedback loop of protocol revenue, locked supply, and viral network effects. Bonk buybacks, which have hit $500,000 in just 48 hours recently, are funded by real on-chain fees. That value gets cycled back to stakers and lockers through Bonk rewards, where users can multiply their share by locking up to 12 months for a 2.6x boost. 50% of all the fees from the launchpad go back to buying and burning Bonk. The other 50% goes toward Bonk-related staking, growth, and rewards. At the same time, new tokens launched and graduated on Let's Bonk add to the protocol's market cap and ecosystem value, pushing more users into the network and attracting more capital. Bonk has been no stranger to the channel. If you've been here for a while, you know that we called Bonk back in 2023 at just 130 million market cap. Check this out. This is a complete, more degen play. It is a Solana ecosystem, but this Bonk coin, if you are into meme coins, and normally I'm not, but the space has proved me that people tend to find value in them. And so this Bonk coin is kind of like Shiba or Doge, but it's the #1 meme coin on Solana. And it's pretty serious, like $57 million in daily volume, $130 million market cap. With so much of the Launchpad's revenue and buybacks going straight into Bonk, this ecosystem is set up to keep fueling its growth as Let's Bonk expands. And when you look at Pump.Fun, which is aiming for a $4 billion valuation, it really puts things into perspective just how much upside Bonk still could have from here. And look, I'm no fan of Pump.Fun. I've told you that before. I made a whole video on it. So why am I talking about this one? Because for better or worse, meme coins are part of the crypto culture. I don't want to go around trying to pick the ones that are going to do 100x. There will be a time and place for that, likely. And if we see clear winners, we'll bring them to you on the channel and in the Telegram group. But the thing is that when there is a niche that inevitably is very strong and memes are here to stay, then we want to look at the picks and shovels. Now, why I think Bonk Fun is more interesting than Pump.Fun is because Pump.Fun has always been a private company, maximum value extracting. They made a killer in Solana, but sold that for stablecoin. They just raised like $1 billion from VCs. So they're VC funded, not community driven hardly whatsoever. And Bonk has always been a community coin. It has been deeply embedded into the Solana ecosystem. It is already the biggest meme coin outside of Trump on Solana. And now they can keep iterating and building and shipping value. And they have such a huge user base and such a big community that when they launch a new product like this Bonk.fun, it attracts attention. And that's why you see this ecosystem surpassing for the first time Pump.fun in revenue from network fees. And unlike to Pump.fun, these network fees that are being created, they're going back to buying it back and burning the Bonk token, which is an amazing flywheel. And the rest of the revenue is being shared across to make sure that the ecosystem can continue to develop, it can continue to fund development, hire developers, build new products, and add more value to the Bonk token. You already see them shipping. You've already seen what they've integrated. We've seen this forever. There's $1 billion in trading volume now for Bonk in the last 24 hours. It is here to stay. It already was a bullish buy when we mentioned it at 130 million because it was the number one community coin in Solana. But now they're adding real utility with real value and taking that cult-like community that was built and now adding products for that community to use. And that becomes a flywheel of attention. What we're watching on Bonk, the way frameworks and narratives catch on and multiply, lines up perfectly with what Sunil calls the evolution from pure chance to intellectual justification. Traditional gambling is dying. The real volume and growth are in products where speculation feels skillful, social, and intellectually justified. Casino stocks like Caesars and MGM have stagnated or collapsed, while short-term options, prediction markets, collectibles, and meme coins have seen triple-digit growth rates. The future of speculation is now about sharing, copying, and amplifying frameworks that make risk-taking feel smarter, safer, and socially validated. Meme flywheels like Bonk are becoming a new system for channeling narrative, attention, and capital into self-sustaining networks. In this new world, traders crave frameworks that let them feel smart, signal their edge, and copy what works. We've gone from rolling the dice to sharing playbooks, analysis, and step-by-step research that spreads through the community like wildfire. If you want to understand the reflexivity in this market, start by recognizing the feedback loop. Influencers like Bonkai publish a thesis, sometimes 30, 40, even 50 tweets deep, breaking down everything from tokenomics to meme cycles to social sentiment. These research posts go viral and turn into self-fulfilling prophecies. This is how crypto works. And this is how crypto Twitter works. And this is how markets work. Bonkai's useless token thesis is a pattern that hundreds, even thousands of traders repeat and amplify across Twitter, Telegram, and X. The result is a metagame where everyone thinks they're making independent, sophisticated bets, but in reality, the crowd is amplifying the same strategies and feeding even more energy back into the meme flywheel. We are living in the intellectual speculation era now, guys. To win, you don't just chase coins, you learn to spot where frameworks and narratives are spreading the fastest, where someone's research, terminology, or meme structure is going viral. The real alpha now comes from surfing these mimetic waves. The more traders analyze, share, and copy, the more likely a coin, trend, or protocol achieves escape velocity. Even just having the perception of an edge creates a new edge. This reflexivity is the engine behind every 10,000% runner, every overnight cult, and every protocol that turns into a phenomenon. So if you want to get ahead of the cycle, watch how the research itself becomes the market. Ask who's influencing the influencers. See which frameworks, dashboards, or meme formats are being copied everywhere. This is where the next meta will ignite. So would I buy Bonk right now? Well, we mentioned 130 million. So we're up, quite a bit since then. Even with the volatility, we mentioned 130 million, we're up to 5 billion, for example. Now it's sitting at just below 2 billion. What you can see over here in the last 7 days, essentially, is a token price went from multiple zeros 1.3 to multiple zeros 2.3, essentially. And so it did a 2x basically over the past, 87%, what is it? 75% over the past 2 weeks. Why? Because of this Bonk Fund narrative. Now, when I mentioned that Bonk Fund surpassed Pump Fund in fees, that happened so far one day. And that narrative took off on crypto Twitter over the weekend, like it was now inevitable that Bonk Fund just eats pump.fun. We need to see more time. We need to see more time if this was just a low volume day on Pump Fun and Bonk Fun caught a big volume meta and it took off and that's why it happened. Like that's very possible, right? It's very possible that just some viral meme took off on Bonk Fun. It was a low volume day on Pump Fun. And so for the first time ever, Bonk.fun surpassed it. And then someone saw that, screenshotted it and say, now Bonk.fun is the new Pump Fun better, right? So we need to see if that sustains. We also need to see what happens, in the short term. There's a good chance here with this $2 billion valuation that there's a pullback. I mean, you can see over the past 7 days, it's up 55%. The point is that this thing is likely to go much, much, much higher if and when we get this altcoin season that we keep anticipating to come. It's not just a meme coin anymore. It is the Memecoin launchpad, the picks and shovels, plus deeply integrated in the Solana ecosystem. Outside of Trump, it is the biggest meme coin in Solana. And for that reason, I think this thing's, to say that it goes 10x, right, is very reasonable. Can you get a better entry? Probably. There's going to be a lot of volatility in the weeks ahead. And I don't think that we're seeing an immediate altcoin season anytime very, very, very soon. And this thing has been all the attention right now. And that's why we're covering it today. And so you can pay attention to it, right? And see if this thing has another 20, 30, 40% pullback, might be a really good entry. But if you remember that we covered this in 2023, and we're talking about 2025. So 2 years later, and the community is stronger than ever, building more products than ever, and expanding more than ever. And this is cool. It's like a truly kind of decentralized project with everyone chipping in. They've got the Telegram trading bot, they've got the launchpad, they got the meme factor, and it's number 61 in CoinMarketCap. So if they end up doing these top 50 crypto ETFs, then Bonk doesn't have much further to go up before it hits the top 50 and might start being included in all Wall Street's portfolios and indexes as well, which would be absolutely insane. I've talked about the barbell strategy many times on this channel because it's never been more obvious than right now. We are truly in a barbell market structure now. The only projects that are winning are either pure meme engines or pure protocol revenue machines. Anything in the middle is struggling. Mid-tier infra tokens, legacy DeFi, and half-hearted attempts at utility are losing liquidity and market share as users flock to whatever flywheel is spinning fastest. If you want to find the winners, dig deeper into what's actually getting attention. Now, on the protocol side of that barbell, you have projects that are eating the entire sectors. For DeFi, for example, now the fastest growing narrative in mind share in crypto, and Aave is the clear anchor. And a few weeks ago, I talked to you about how I was deploying into Aave. It's become the black hole for stablecoins and DeFi lending. Right now, Aave owns 65% of the lending market on Ethereum, manages more than 5% of all stablecoins in existence, and racks up over $100 million a year in real protocol revenue. Picture that. In a world where fintech unicorns are laying off workers, Aave just keeps stacking fees month after month. And why did I buy Aave? Because I love using Aave. It's fantastic. Here's where it gets even wilder though. Kraken and Ink Network are rolling out a new hybrid lending product. Imagine being able to post stocks, Bitcoin or ETH as collateral and get on-chain stablecoin loan, all powered by custom Aave instances. Aave's brand, risk model, and user loyalty are so strong that even big exchanges are building on it as stablecoin assets break records, 255 billion and counting. Aave's protocol flywheel is positioned to suck up every new dollar looking for yield. Watch this video I made recently for a deeper dive in Aave. This is the new DeFi empire. BonkBot is leading among Telegram bots, and Let's Bonk is making a real run at Pump Fund's crown as the dominant meme coin launchpad. Aave continues to set the pace in lending. In this environment, being early is about picking the leaders who control the flow of capital and attention in their category. That's how you win and consistently outperform in crypto. Not to mention, timing has never mattered more. And right now, it's in your favor. If you zoom out, we're sitting right at the same chart level that has sparked every major alt season in the past. Altcoins are trading at peak fear and uncertainty, which is often where the best risk-reward ratio setup appears. And if you want a great place to pick up some Aave, Bonk, or any other altcoin, here's a great place to do it. I've partnered with exchange Blowfin, channel sponsor for today, and no KYC exchange, open to Americans, low fees, and every trading pair you could ever want. They've got all kinds of great bonuses. If you just deposit $100 into the futures account, you get $10 in free Bitcoin, just like that, no questions asked. And for every $100 you deposit, you get to spin the wheel for chances to win Solana and Sui and things like that. Use my affiliate link in the description below, guys. It helps the channel so that I don't have to bring horrible sponsors on here. Bluefin is great. All right, back to the show. So guys, Bitcoin is inevitably going to absolutely explode. But when it does explode and these headlines start coming in and you see Bitcoin at $120,000, $125,000, this is when the rotation will start to happen from Bitcoin into altcoins. And this is when we see real true altcoin season. And altcoins will far and vastly outperform Bitcoin at that point. And when we see that rotation really start to happen, we'll bring it to you on the channel. And that's when we start to also strategize about how to take profits so you can accumulate more Bitcoin in the things that we think that they're worth taking profits out of. Some of these altcoins will change the world. I believe in that. I strongly believe in that. And those are the things that I don't sell. Those are the things that I hold multi-cycle. And as they evolve, as we see more winners, we'll let you know on this channel. That's the wrap up for today, guys. Stay sharp, stack your Satoshis. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.